One of the secrets to learning the golf swing is the movement of the trail arm. And I'm here today with my good friend, Tom Segudo.
Rob.
Tom, thanks for having me, man.
Good to see you.
We're in the Myrtle Beach sunshine, beautiful day. We're going to talk about the role of the trail arm in the golf swing. And the reason this subject came up for me was I've been watching a lot of Tom's stuff recently, watching you crush the ball on your YouTube videos. I love watching your swing. And I've noticed this little movement that you've been putting into your pre-shot setup. It caught my eye. The keen-eyed among you may have noticed Tom doing this, and if you've been watching his channel as well recently, you'll see he's been talking about the right arm quite a lot. So we were talking last night, I was asking you what you were working on in your swing, and this subject came up. So I thought it was a really good one to cover because so many people get this wrong. Tom, tell me your thoughts around the trail arm right now, and then we'll move into drills and ideas that you guys can use in your swing to help you hit the ball better.
Yeah, so the trail arm is essential at controlling so many things in the golf swing. When you look at contact, when you think about swing plane, that's the path of your swing. When you think about downswing, and even hitting the ball hard, it comes right back to this right arm. So for me, tucking in, and actually not just for me, but like this is an essential element. I don't like thinking about a lot of things in my swing. I don't like thinking about positions. I don't like thinking about, I just can't think about anything in 3 seconds like that, trying to hit a ball. So tucking in this arm and making sure that my forearm's facing the sky, my palm's facing the sky without gripping it, just give you an idea of what this does. It puts the club in an automatic shallowing position. This is a machine. And then what happens is the rest of your swing goes on autopilot. I have just hit the autopilot button. This is your captain speaking. We're at 30,000 feet, your cruising altitude, and all I got to do is make sure that the autopilot button stays on. I feel that the shoulder controls the swing.
Nice.
And so this shaft, look, boom, on plane, boom, on plane. It's still there, it's on plane. And then on the downswing, same thing. Right back to the ball. It's shallow.
Nice.
So all those thoughts are gone.
I think a lot of golfers have a sense of trying to keep their right arm tucked in. I mean, Ben Hogan has a very famous picture in his book, and he discusses how that trail arm was very key in his swing. You're absolutely right. It's a very key area of the swing. I see golfers get that piece wrong quite often, whether it's in the backswing, even at setup, but in the backswing and the downswing. So if you want to take your setup there, Tom, I'll talk some people through what we're seeing here. You made a beautiful reference there of rotating the arm so that the pit of the elbow, the forearm, and the palm is facing the camera there to start with. And that places this trail arm into what's called external rotation. And an easy way to remember that would be external rotation would be losing an arm wrestle. Love
that one. I saw that video on your channel.
An internal rotation, if I just move my arm into incorrect position, it would be turned inwards. That would be winning the arm wrestle. And in golf, winning the arm wrestle is bad. Winning the arm wrestle is steep shaft city, right?
You can never hit the ball from that position.
No. And that's in position at setup. I can just mimic that position in the backswing or the downswing and my shaft's too steep. Conversely, if we put it into the position you're describing, external rotation, and we hold on to that, that was you beautifully demonstrating this ability to keep the club and the shaft on plane. So I like to discuss this with students and actually give a specific coding system to this arm. I think it helps people to recognize where their limbs are in space. If you get this one right, you unlock so many good things about the swing. And so when the trail arm is facing the camera, fully externally rotated, we call this position 3. 3 keeps it nice and simple because there's only 2 others. There's 2, which would be turned in 45 degrees, and then position 1, which would be fully internally rotated. And now your forearm and the pit of your elbow are facing down the driving range. This would be the highest handicapper. This would be the professional. So we're going to put our arm into position 3, and that would be consistent with what you've been practicing. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. Every shot, before every shot.
I can see you just tucking it in there.
I'm religious about it. It has to happen because there are times when I've played golf and my round starts going downhill, and you just get set up. You think you got your setup, but then you realize on the 7th hole, you're like, why is the ball flying all over the place? Oh, well, this feels like it's tucked in, but it's not. So I've gotten in the habit of just doing this so I can see it. That way I know when I'm playing, I'm on autopilot.
It's a nice little pre-swing set because it gives you a sense, as I've just mentioned, of where that limb is in space. And then we're trying to keep it there. Is that also fair to say?
That is the challenge.
That's it.
It's so simple to do. It's just to see this. But then the challenge for me is feeling that, staying externally rotated all the way.
So
until, you know, here.
yeah, that's really well said, and it's certainly consistent with my thinking and how I like to see that trail arm work. Secondary to the elbow and shoulder position would be the fact that the bottom of this joint, the forearm and the palm, can also rotate independently of the upper arm. So I can, if you go ahead and demonstrate, you can have the elbow in position 3, and you can have the forearm and the hand rotated. This really is the icing on the top of the cake, understanding this piece. So golfers who try to get the elbow into position 3, tuck the elbow, we'll call it the Hogan position if you like.
Right.
Couple that with a right hand, which is also in position 3, pointing out. What's that going to do to the club face if you did that? Let's just hold on to that club. So we've got the arm in position 3, tucked in. Everyone's trying to tuck this thing in, tuck it in. As they come down to the ball, the palm is also facing out like this. What's that club face going to do?
You see that thing is wide open.
And that's where so many golfers get this concept wrong. The idea of tucking the arm in is good, but if you don't couple it with the correct wrist forearm motion, the club face is completely non-functional. And so at the last minute, you start flipping to try and fix this thing. So what you would do here, Tom, is keep the arm in position 3, tucked in.
Right.
Now rotate your wrist and forearm down. That would be rotating the hand into this position where, rather than it facing the camera, 3, 2, 1. Position 1.
Look at that.
Locked in. That's the draw locked in. Now that club face is in a functional position. You've got the elbow in front of your body. You can come down to impact and can deliver that shaft lean.
Look at that.
That's the look, the position that you're all trying to achieve. And it comes from very specific positions that you need to understand. It's no good just hoping that this right arm finds its place.
No.
All of the discussions that we've had today and over the videos that you'll see coming up on the channel, all of them discuss the concept of all of this is by design. It's not by accident. Putting the arm into these positions helps us to have a prediction of what's going to happen.
Right.
Right? You know for a fact that if you get that arm in place, club's coming in on plane, you're going to hit the ball first, the ground second, because you have that shaft lean that it allows you to do. And the face is closed, or to the shaft, you're going to hit a beautiful little draw. I mean, that's predictable. It's not by accident. So I love the fact that you've highlighted such a key area of the swing on your channel. It's got so much attention. I really wanted to talk to Tom about it today, and I'm really happy you're sharing your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, I can't live without it. You know, you could try and do what I think of like a Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
Ricky does a little bit more of that club outside the hands takeaway. And then you see him flip it, roll it over like a dog. So you like this and then roll it over. And the times when I've tried to do more of that outside takeaway move or trying to keep the club out and then do that, it's just, how do you coordinate that? How do you figure out where that club is going to be? How do you know it's on the proper plane every time? The path will change depending on this.
Completely.
So just setting it and forgetting it says, all I have to think is shoulders and keep my tilt, of course, because I think something that gets lost in this, and I'm spilling the beans here, this is really confidential stuff, but if you look at the relationship of the club face with the tilt, I could start off with the perfect right arm position, but if I lose this relationship in the takeaway, let's say, I'm automatically opening the face to the shaft. So this is already setting up for a slice. If I keep my tilt though and keep the arm in, the face is staying square.
That's nice.
And so when I continue back to the top and I still keep my tilt, the face is still square, and on the way down, it's still square. But if I was to go at any point in my swing and decide to level out that or lose that relationship, watch this, I'm going to come down with that. It's wide open. So you have to be careful, very vigilant with this right arm.
Yeah.
If you're going to set it, you set it once, and then just focus on the additives of making sure you keep that tilt so that face stays square.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that really, really nicely. I think putting it in at start point, that's the first place for golfers to begin, and then to try to get a sense of retaining those alignments.
Yeah.
Put it in place, hold on to that, and then move that 3-in-1 position around the golfer's body. And start out small, but if you manage to retain that, you're going to find the club comes down in a more powerful position. The contact becomes improved, right? You get better contact more often versus having the arm moving and changing around. You made a nice reference there to a tour player, and I think sometimes the audience watches the best players in the world on the men's and ladies tour. There's some phenomenal golfers, and oftentimes they'll look at the swings and think they're all a little bit different. They're actually more similar than different. That's maybe a different video. But what I'd say is the Ricky Fowler example you gave, these guys are athletes. They're incredible athletes who can make certain timings and compensations work. We're talking to an audience of golfers who just want to hit the ball better, right? Want to play better golf. Life's too short to...
Life is too short to play bad golf. But I'd also add, like, Ricky doesn't have to do that.
No.
The tour pros have inefficiencies.
Yeah. Keeping it simple for the audience. This is what this particular piece really does.
Oh, yeah.
Removes the variables, not all the moving around of the shaft and the face. 3,
Can you
1.
see that movement, by the way? Look, when he does that, look at this, all the movement of the shaft of the face.
And when the shaft and the club, golfers will often look and see what's going on here at the club level,
Yeah.
which is obviously important, but really what's changing is the arm alignment that we're discussing.
Right.
3, 1, keep it, move it around me in the backswing, move it around me in the downswing. It's still in place. It's not changing.
Look at that.
Staying the same, staying the same, staying the same. If you learn that movement and that piece of the puzzle, that's a game changer right there.
Now, Rob, something came to I got this idea, like thinking off of a Ben Hogan book reference. Remember when he says, find a friend?
Yeah.
He says somewhere in find a friend. So if you have a friend with you, this is something that I think could really help you out. Just set up like your arms in that position, set up the 3 and the 1. And then if you have somebody near, what I like to do is I will monitor, if you're the friend, monitor, and Rob's going to take this club around the body. So as he's taking it back, I'm actually going to hold his wrist in position like a lock. So this arm can't move or change. It's not going to lose that tuck.
That feels good there.
So he knows that he's keeping it in. Then when he comes down, I'm watching his wrists again. Wrists aren't breaking. It's the same angle at address. The arm is in the same position. So he hasn't changed. By the time he gets to impact, watch. It's very similar to where he started. You see that nothing's changed here. And especially monitoring these wrists. Some people will get their wrists involved. For example, they'll either cup or bow their wrist early, and that ruins this relationship. So having someone to watch, or if you're watching on video, if you're watching your swing on video, just check. How is this changing throughout the swing?
Yeah.
Is it changing? It shouldn't be.
That drill there, that exercise was really beneficial. It really helped me to feel I was keeping it in. It reminded me of the picture of Butch and Tiger. Do you remember right in the early days where he's behind him, tucked behind him, trying to keep that elbow in? It's exactly the same thing. These great players work on these same things. Most of them do it better than you're doing it right now, but these are the things good players do. This isn't by accident. These are the things good golfers do. So if I wanted to benefit from this feel, start out by making sure I was putting it in at setup. That's the first place to start. And then start out with some small swings, keeping the 3 and the 1, keeping the arm tucked and the wrist turned on top of the shaft, and just hitting or practice some small swings, keeping those alignments. I would say you're keeping the arm and the wrist in place and just chipping some out there. Weight forward, keep the 3 and the 1.
Delicious.
There's that beautiful contact, lovely shaft lean and hitting down, getting that crispy strike that you like.
Yes.
And
bangers and mash, as you'll say.
Yeah, bangers and mash over in the other side of the pond. That's where you start. If you try to go too fast too soon, you're likely going to find that this arm and wrist movement gets out of whack at some point. So start small, keep the arm position, and the quality of contact, the ball speed and the distance you can get out of this is phenomenal. You just have to trust it and learn to put it into your swing. And if you've only ever thought about the elbow, adding in the forearm and the hand can literally change this piece completely.
Yeah, and this feel that Rob's describing brings back to a lesson with Andy Plummer. We had a lesson on 3 and 1, and it was shocking to me how much I felt it was tucked in, and he would say, no, you're not tucked in at all. Like you're losing. I'm losing it. I'm winning the arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
And so I remember him looking at me like this and just watching this go around the body. But then it was in this position, so it's this.
Yeah.
And just being aware of that, because the feel is,
yeah,
that's the feel.
We've talked about this over the videos. It's a very specific position with a very subjective feel. Each person's interpretation of how much of this to do is going to be different from player to player.
Yeah.
But what we're looking for is very specific. So we're going to use a good coach or a camera to verify that we're really doing it. Tom, You're demonstrating this beautifully. I wanted to make this video because of how you were presenting this both on your channel and in your swing. I think we should have you hit a couple of these just to wrap this up, if that's okay.
Let's crisp it up.
Show us how you would do that in your setup and in your takeaway.
So if you you watch my pre-shot routine, you're going to see this is an integral part of my routine, and it happens every time. I almost don't think so. You see I'm going to talk you through it first, but you see the 3 right there and the 1. So that I'm very particular about that because I don't go like this and then this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 3, 1.
Keep that in, right? Because as you put the 1 in, you could easily lose the 3.
Oh, you could easily lose it. So, and I have done that in a round and messed up because you get lose focus and you start going, oh, I'm tucked in, and then I lose it.
What was interesting there actually for me, just watching you set up to the ball, instinctively you did it before even starting to talk about it. It's become so much part of your setup.
Yes, I'm some freak out there. What is wrong with this guy? He's a robot.
You've got a twitch in your arm. Oh. All right, stick it in there. 3 and 1.
All right, 3 and 1.
Keep it tucked in and
feeling it tucked in. Oh, so many things get taken care of. You just feel like the swing gets taken care of.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, let's. These bags are packed. Send them home.
That is the best shot you've hit today. Hammered, high, push, draw.
We need to do more right arm episodes and this crisps it up.
That's the best. That was nice. So you're using it to good effect. Great players are doing this, some of them automatically now, but some people need to learn it. Even the good players need to learn it. And as you practice that and thought about it even more there, it's produced a great shot. Best shot you've hit today. It's really nice, high push draw, beautiful strike. And so many people can benefit and get value out of the right arm. The right arm is such an integral part of the swing, so misunderstood and so poorly adopted into the swing by people. They get it wrong all the time. The 3 and the 1 gives you a place to start, gives you a place to go to, and gives you an expectation there in terms of improved ball flight and contact. Tom.
I'm still thinking about that shot.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks to your idea for the episode, that may have just fixed something.
So you can benefit from this if you stick this into your swing, start out small, build up, and let us know down in the comments how you get on. This, for so many golfers, is game changing when they understand that the forearm wrist piece is the bit that Hogan didn't tell you. Tom, that was awesome. Great demonstration. Thank you so much for having me out here. Guys, I'm going to put all of Tom's information down into the description in the comments. If you're not following Tom, you need to be. We've got a few more videos coming your way over the next few weeks. Be sure to be subscribed to both channels, and we look forward to sharing more valuable content with you very soon. Tom,
Rob,
thanks.
that was awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you next time.